Hello, it's me, and it's time for another unboxing. This one comes from Timur. Now, if you recall, a long time ago, before they were mass-produced, Timur was responsible for expanding my collection into the higher order pyraminxes. So that's where I got the Royal Pyraminx, the Elite Pyraminx, a lot of different ones. Well, I've been fascinated with cubic transformations of platonic solids, or the other way around. So basically, just to give a little bit of a history here, when looking at the pyraminx, I look at the pyraminx as a two-layer version of the platonic solid of a face turning a pyramid. Because these trivial tips don't really participate, but you just have these two to deal with. Well, I've been wanting to get my hands on something like the Ivy cube, which is a cubic transformation of that. Now, it's not exactly like that. And I ask anyone who has a copy of that, let me know, because I'd like to get one that actually has trivial tips, because there's something about the purity of that kind of a modification that is very appealing to me, that I have an Ivy cube, which is a cubic transformation of a four-sided platonic solid, but with the trivial tips. So Timur was kind enough to allow me to expand my collection even further, and we'll get this one out here first. What do you call something that is the cubic transformation of what I would actually call the three-layer version? I know this is called the Master Pyraminx, which is fine, I guess, but really it's a three-layer puzzle, and that would be this. So this is going to be the four-layer version of it, and what I like about this is you get the trivial tips, I think. Oh, but they don't turn. They're there, but they don't actually turn. So anyway, really smooth moving, and this is solved just like, I guess, the master version of the Ivy cube, but in reality, it's a cubic transformation of the Master Pyraminx. So you've got this over here. This actually represents the more convoluted center that you're going to get over here. So this is the master version. The turning is exactly what I would expect from Timur's work. So it looks really good. Aha! Actually, I was incorrect. You do get trivial tips here. So I'm very excited about that, because this is the trivial tip that turns here and here. So if you can imagine, this is like the tip of the pyramid, while these two are at the side. So this is a cubic transformation of the Master Pyraminx, which I guess you can call the Master Ivy cube. Anyway, this is not mass produced yet, but it really should be. And let's see, what represents what? I guess if I turn this here, here, and here, this actually represents more the pyramidal structure here, here, and here. And then I'm gonna want to go through what everything else is in between. I suppose maybe this is correlated with this, and these edges here, we've got two edges that would be correlated with these, and this would be correlated with this. So if I'm gonna have a master version of that, well, what about a professor version of it? Well, luckily Timur's brilliance and genius can do just that, and that's what this is. So this is the elite version of it, and the turning is, as you can see, top-notch, top-notch. Now, because Timur knows that I like the purity of the structure, he also included for me the trivial tips. So this is truly the version of the Professor Pyraminx. This is the cubic version of Professor Pyraminx, and I'm very excited about this because that's exactly what I wanted. Now the solve strategy, we'll see, because, well, it doesn't shapeshift or anything, but it is a cubic transformation of that. So if I consider this is like the center, this correlating with this, with these three things surrounding it, 1, 2, 3, that'll surround that. Then I've got 1, 2, 3 edges here correlated with this 1, 2, 3. Then I've got these guys to deal with as well. So I'm going to review my solution to the Professor Pyraminx in order to go through this. Now, I enjoy cubic transformations because I just enjoy cubes, right? It all started off with a cube, the Rubik's Cube that started it all. At least I think it did. Oh, don't want to scramble it quite yet. So the fact that it's a cubic transformation is great. The fact that it retains the purity by having the trivial tips, which is fantastic. And the fact that it is a cube makes it all the more appealing. So I don't see why you couldn't have a royal version of this. So I may challenge Timur to go even further with his brilliance. Let's get this set up in a way that looks kind of cool. I think I have the red one over here. Okay, good, and good, and good. Okay, so there you have it. The reverse engineered process whereby you're taking one platonic solid, in this case, platonic solid, a four-sided puzzle, and make it into a cubic variation of that. So what I'm looking for is higher order versions of this, and even higher order modifications of, say, a cube to a megaminx, or to an octahedral version of a cube of a 3x3. But I'm going to come back at you with solves of this. But as you can see, the structure of these puzzles, the function is fantastic, and I love the fact that they have cubic transformations, which is what I covet in my collection the most. And at some point, when the whole collection is shown, I'll go through an organization that has to do with platonic solids and other types of shapes, and how they function with strategy. Thanks for watching. Hello, it's me, and here's an unboxing coming all the way from Mexico, from Rix Rosano Perez. No, is that his name? Yeah, okay. And he is another very talented guy from Mexico who has actually made for me a lot of fascinating ghost variations. That's what I enjoy about ghosts, is when you think you've conquered a puzzle, try ghosting it. It's a way of increasing the complexity. Or the difficulty, rather. Complexity, I guess, would be a little different. Okay, this is a box, and within this box is, I think, what I seek. Right, Evan? Yeah. Okay, this goes here, this goes here. Trying to do this without injuring myself or anyone else, unless they deserve it. And cut through here. That's an interesting shaped box to unbox. And across here. Alright, these are the easiest of videos to make because it requires no effort on my part, except for the effort of using my knife. All I gotta do is unbox and show it. So this looks cubic, which I like. It gets back to the very basics of what I enjoy about twisty puzzles. I like shape mods, I like variations, I love platonic solids, but there's something about the cube that really harkens back to my original interest. Alright, let's dissect through here. Oh, okay, oh yeah, what do we have here? So it obviously is some kind of a ghost. It smells all glossy. What a fantastic finish. These are actually better than mass-produced. They just seem so professionally made. Anyway, you can see the movement is great. So what is this? What is this? Well, let's get it into ghost position. Now it has an interesting shape over here. So it certainly has a 3x3 looking. Here's a center. Edge, 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 edge. Well, and then some extra noise over here. So I think what we're dealing with is a variation of the 3x3x5 type puzzles. Okay, if I move edges to edges, I'm starting to get something, but not quite. Not quite. It wants to turn, but it's trying to tell me, no, you're not lined up. Aha! Yes. Okay, lined up really nicely. So I think what we're dealing with is a very interesting ghostly arrangement. Because if I look at it like this, what exactly am I dealing with? I think I'm dealing with probably one of those 3x3x5s. Here's something else that's interesting. This moves here, but when I turn it over to here, this is not moving. So I think, unless it's supposed to move, but things are bound together, there is that possibility. Maybe some of the epoxy got stuck together. I suspect that's the case. I suspect this wants to move here. So if I apply some gentle pressure, maybe if I pull into here, I do not want, it's like trying to redo a Mona Lisa. But I think this is supposed to turn, and I think it's kind of bonded together there. How about here? Same thing here, because you can actually smell the epoxy on it. Or something. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to work with this because I think this does want to turn, but things got bonded here. It really wants to turn. It's begging me to turn. Aha! Okay. Hear that little pop? Okay, so I'm gonna do the fingernail technique. So what needs to come apart? Aha! Yes. Maybe no. That's not bonding together. This one is. This one is. Let it free, let it free. Yeah, this one is hanging on and it's kind of deep. So let me perform a little bit of reconstructive surgery. Yeah, see, I want to be very careful. So you can see this turns here. This all turns here. Okay, so my suspicion is this, and this is what's fascinating about this. I think to get it to scramble, this is like a 3x3x5 where I have extra layers here. But I have to get all the edges. So this is going to be a fascinating challenge. I have a puzzle not too unlike this. Everything wants to move, but there's this area here. Now how do I safely... Aha! Okay, so now we have it totally freed up. I think? Yes? Yes. Okay. So yeah, I could do it just like a ghost 3x3. That's fine. However, I want to get these involved too. So I'm gonna just sort of play around with this, and then I'll come back with you in terms of the arrangement. But I think it's a ghost 3x3x5. So another fascinating challenge. All right. So there it is. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Another fantastic job. So here's another puzzle. This one comes all the way from Denmark. Denmark. There is talent all over the world. I think for me that's the key to world peace. Just understanding that puzzle making has no boundaries. It has no preference to any race, religion, creed, gender. It's everywhere. From sea to shining sea, from country to country. Maybe that is the key to world peace. Have a whole economy based on puzzles, and you'll find no one country's better. Okay. Anyway, that's why I'll never be president. Okay, okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is a gem. This is an interesting one. What do we have here? So it's a 3D printed puzzle. And when done right, so this is fascinating. So what do we have here? Well, it looks like a copter, and it moves like a copter pretty smoothly. Obviously, there's a lot of pieces here, but it moves very smooth. So here's the copter aspect. Does it jumble the way a copter ought to? The way an edge turner ought to? And the answer is yes. So I'm expecting the same kind of moves, same kind of jumbling, like that. Okay, so there's obviously some more noise to this. There's some more pieces. So what else is this? Well, I see this square that I'll see with a skewb. So might we have skewb moves? Oh, we sure do. So we have skewb moves here. So this appears to be a crossbreed, a hybrid between a curvy copter and a skewb. Now, this might be a plus, a skewb copter plus, because I'm seeing sort of a plus look to it. And if it's a skewb plus, then I should be able to move it as such. And the only difference is unbinding it, so to speak, unbandaging it, being able to do extra moves. Like moving it here, I normally shouldn't be able to move it, and it is. Okay, so it's not only a skewb plus, I'm sorry, a helicopter plus a skewb, it's a helicopter plus, which means when I put it in this position, I can go beyond that. I can move this here, and there's probably some unexpected moves that you can do from a skewb standpoint. I probably can't do a skewb move from here, but I'm wondering. So in this way, I'm going to have to review my solution strategy to both a curvy copter and a curvy copter plus, and also a skewb. Alright, so this goes into the fascinating and brilliant section. And what would be the best way of solving this? Do I reduce it to a skewb? Do I reduce it to a curvy copter plus? Do I do a little of both? Do I do algorithms that apply both moves? So there you have it, a skewb copter plus. I had an opportunity to get my hands on this gem, and there you have it. Really look forward to playing around with this puzzle. So 2 new ones to add to my collection. Thanks for watching.